Hello students, we are studying chapter 2, that is nutrition in animals. In first video we discussed about as how various organisms take their food, and in that video I told you that about the human digestive system. Human digestive system have alimentary canal, that is complete human digestive system is made up of alimentary canal and digestive enzyme, secretory glands. So this is the diagram I have tried to draw it. Whatever digestive system is there, in that I told you that various three type of secretory glands are there. So there are salivary glands. Among the secretory glands, salivary glands are there, that is three pair of salivary glands are found in the buccal cavity. This is the first part of alimentary canal is buccal cavity. In buccal cavity there is teeth, tongue and salivary glands. So three pair of salivary glands are there here, that is upper side there is parotid gland, and at back side below the tongue there is sublingual gland, and below the tongue it is also a little front side, it is that is maxillary gland. So these are the three pair of salivary glands found in the buccal cavity of human beings. After that, whatever pipe connect buccal cavity to the stomach, that is called esophagus or food pipe. This is flexible. Whatever this you are seeing, that is the windpipe, that is not related to digestive system, that is related to respiratory system, that is trachea. So since it is not related to digestive system, so it is not labeled here. So this is the food pipe. Food pipe connect buccal cavity to the stomach, and stomach is J shaped, in the shape of J, that is stomach would stay here, and after that the stomach opens into small intestine. Small intestine is very long, it is approx 7.5 meter long. It is coiled and arranged inside the body, that is small intestine, although it is said is small intestine, but it is longest part of the alimentary canal. And after that opens into large intestine. Large intestine at the last there is rectum, and after that there is anus. That last part of the alimentary canal is anus. Whatever digestive secretory glands, so that is salivary gland, pancreas is below the stomach, that present here, and liver is the largest gland that secretes bile juice. That bile juice is collected here, that gland is called gallbladder. Although gallbladder do not secretes, but bile juice secreted by liver is collected here. So that is sac like structure. From here bile juice is poured into the food. So this is the diagram of digestive system in human beings. From the diagram it is clear that which part is found where. Now about one part we will discuss in detail. The first part of alimentary canal is, that is buccal cavity, that is buccal cavity. Now in buccal cavity, as I told you, there is three pair of salivary glands and teeth and tongue. So what is the work of salivary glands? The salivary glands secrete saliva, that secretes saliva. Whatever secretion of salivary gland is there, that is saliva. Below the tongue, most of the saliva is secreted from the glands present below the tongue. When you see any food and you feel that it is tasty, or any sour food if you will see, so at that time you feel that saliva start to come from below the tongue. So that comes from these two glands, and this gland secretes when we go at the place where there is foul smell. So if foul smell comes, then at that time you feel that at the neck some fluid that is tasteless, that spoil the taste of your mouth, so that you spit out. So that is main salivary glands are these two that secretes when we feel the taste of, means we feel something to eat, or most of the saliva is secreted from these two salivary glands. And the saliva, whatever is secreted from salivary glands, that is the function of it is that it keeps the food moist, and it makes the food slippery. It help in it makes the food slippery. So when food becomes slippery, then it becomes easy to swallow it. And saliva have a type of enzyme that is called salivary amylase. Salivary amylase, that is also called ptyalin. That is also called ptyalin. Ptyalin or salivary amylase is the H2 enzyme which is found in the saliva, and that help in digestion of starch. Starch is a type of carbohydrate. And whatever food we take from plants such as potato, rice, chapatis, so we get carbohydrate in the form of starch, and this starch is a little complex form of carbohydrate. The simplest form of carbohydrate is glucose. So they need to digest it. So starch is digestion of starch started from buccal cavity because of the presence of salivary amylase or ptyalin. So that start to break down it, and that change the starch into maltose. Means digestion of carbohydrate started from the buccal cavity. In buccal cavity there are teeth also. The role of teeth is to crush and chew the food. Whatever teeth are there, these teeth are of four types. That is incisor, canine, premolar, molars. So these are the four types of teeth which are found in the buccal cavity of human beings. Incisors, what are there? Incisors are sharp edge, and they are at the front teeth. They are present at the front side of the buccal cavity, and they are used for biting the food. When you eat any fruit, you cut it with the help of incisors. Whatever herbivorous animals are there, whatever grazing animals are there, they also graze the grasses with the help of incisors. They are also called cutting teeth. So they are used for biting. And in human beings, their number is how much? 8. Canines. After that, there is canines. Whatever teeth are there. So After that, canines are there. Canines are a little higher than. In some people it may be identified, but generally it is in human beings also it is generally near about equal, but it may be a little longer than incisors. So on both side one canine is there in each jaw. So 2 in lower jaw and 2 in upper jaw. There are 4 canines. You can identify the carnivores and herbivorous animals by seeing their teeth. Whatever carnivorous animals are there, their canines are a little longer than other teeth. As you can see, you may have seen in the tiger, in lions, whatever carnivores are there, their canines are a little longer than other teeth. So by seeing the canine length of canine, you can identify that which animal is carnivores, which animal is herbivores. In herbivores like cow, buffalo, goat, the canines are at the same height of the incisors and molars. So all teeth are of same height in cow and buffalo. These canines are used for tearing the food. Whenever you eat any hard food, so you tear it with the help of canines, such as when you chew the sugar cane, then you tear the sugar cane with the help of canines. After that, premolars are there on both side in the jaw, two here and 2 in this side. So means 2 in this side and 2 in this side in one jaw, means 4 in one jaw, and total number is 8. 8 premolars are there, and molars are 3 in this side and 3 in this side in one jaw, and like that in upper jaw also. So 3, 3, 6, and how much? It is 12 in number. 6, 6, 12. The total number of teeth in human beings is 32. 32 teeth. But whatever teeth we get, that we get in 2 sets. We get teeth in 2 sets. First, milk teeth, and permanent teeth. Milk teeth are 20 in number. They are 20 in number, and permanent teeth are 32 in number. So milk teeth grow from, means they be in our mouth from 2 to 8 years. They grow in early childhood, and at the age of 6 to 8 years they start to fall, and after falling the milk teeth, permanent teeth grows, and but when permanent teeth fall, they do not grow again. So whatever permanent teeth is given by nature to us, that should be taken care properly, that should be saved, so that it may last for whole life. Milk teeth, if will fall, then permanent teeth will grow. So milk teeth, whatever is there, that is 20 in number. The dental formula of milk teeth, formula of milk teeth in human beings is 210 2 upon 2 10 upon 2, 2102 upon 2102. This is the formula of milk teeth. Milk teeth means 2 incisors, 1 canine, 0 premolars and 2 molars in one side, in half of the jaw. From the front side, if we will divide the jaw into 2 halves, so in one half there will be this much teeth, 2 incisors, 1 canine, and no premolars, and 2 molars are there. So and this much in this side also. So made half portion this much teeth are there, it will be 2 or 1 3 or 2 5, 5 in half jaw and 5 in other half jaw. This will be total 10, and other half also will be 10. It means 10 into 2 equal to 20 teeth will be there. So total 20 teeth are there in, means milk teeth are there in human beings. And if we talk about permanent teeth, so permanent teeth formula is formula for permanent teeth. Formula for permanent teeth is that is 2 1 2 3 upon 2 1 2 3. So this is in permanent teeth, that is 32 in number, that is found in adults, in adult human. So 2 incisors in half portion of one jaw, 2 incisors, 1 canine, 2 premolars, 3 molars, means 2 or 1 3 or 2 5 or 3 8. So 8 in half of one jaw and 8 in other half of one jaw, and it will be 16, and 16 into 2 it will be 32, means total 32 teeth are there. So dental formula means for permanent teeth in human beings is 2 1 2 3 upon 2 1 2 3. Of whatever in childhood, as you have seen in dental formula that premolars are not there and only 2 molars are there, incisors and canines are there, but premolars are not there and 1 molars are not there. So after falling permanent teeth, milk teeth, permanent teeth grow, and up to 13-14 year, approx 28 teeth is there in human beings. But after that, at the age of 16 to 18 year, whatever molars are 2 in number in children's, so that grow in 16 to 18 years, means on either side at the end of the jaw, one in this side, one in this side, and upper side also. So 4 molars, 4 molar teeth grow in the age of 16 to 18 year, and they are called wisdom teeth. Wisdom teeth. Whatever teeth grow at the age of, means 4 molars grow at the age of 16 to 18 year, so that is called, they are called wisdom teeth. At the growth of the wisdom teeth, whatever adolescents are there, they feel a little pain, because at that time the gums become strong and the teeth have to tear the gum and that have to come out. So they feel a little pain during that, but afterward that becomes, means that pain disappears and the teeth grows. So this was about the teeth. And if you talk about the structure of teeth, so whatever teeth are there, here this is rough diagram of teeth. So upper layer of teeth is, that is enamel. Enamel is the strongest part of our body. Whatever bones etc., everything is found in our body. Among them, enamel of teeth is the strongest part in our body. So that is white in color, that make the whatever brightness of teeth is there, white brightness of teeth is there, that is because of enamel, and that is hard, that help in crushing the food. Below that there is dentine. Dentine is soft part of, that is softer than enamel, and below that is pulp. and that have arteries and veins. So if these enamels should be protected, that should not be destroyed by any mean. You should not cut any hard substance with the help of teeth. If sometimes it happens when you cut any hard substance, sometimes some part of enamels are broken. So that enamel is, if it will be broken, then the soft part will come out, and your teeth will start to degrade. Means there may be a bacterial attack, and that there may be cavity in the teeth, and you may lose your teeth. So you should take care about the teeth, and you should protect your enamel and teeth properly. You should clean it, you should brush it daily, especially before going to bed, because after eating whatever will be food particles will be there in the mouth, that will remain whole night if you will not brush at the night. So in morning and evening you should brush your teeth, so that it may not be decomposed by the bacteria. Actually, how cavity is formed? So what some bacteria are found in our buccal cavity, and if food particles are there, they start to decompose that, and during that they produce some acids, and that acid destroy the enamel of the teeth, and that make cavity into the teeth. So we should clean our teeth properly, and we should not let the bacteria present into the we should not let the food particles present into the mouth. So this was about the teeth. We have discussed about salivary glands in buccal cavity. Salivary glands. We have discussed about teeth. Now about tongue. Tongue is also there. Tongue is there in the buccal cavity. That is a muscular, thick structure. The function of tongue is that is, the tongue helps in mixing saliva with food. It helps in swallowing the food, and it helps the taste. It helps in finding the taste of the food, and it helps in speaking. So these are the functions of tongue. Whatever tongue is there, that have something like this. It is it have taste buds like sweet, sour, salty, bitter. So some of the areas have densely populated taste buds of various kinds, such as whatever tip of the tongue is there, front tip, so that have sweet taste buds. Sweet taste buds. Above it there is salty, and after that there is sour taste buds, and here at the base, at the inside, there is bitter taste in this area. Bitter taste buds are found like this in this side also, this is the region of salty taste buds, and this is the region of sour taste buds. So these four basic tastes are found out by the tongue. Although these taste buds are not found only in this particular area, as sweet taste buds not found at the only tip of the tongue, salty taste buds are not found only in these area, sour taste buds are not found only in these area, bitter taste buds are not found in these area. All type of taste buds are found everywhere, but in this area a little denser taste buds are there of that special types. one more taste buds has been found out, that is umami. Umami taste buds. So that also has been found out. So that is fifth basic taste which has been found out by the scientists. Although earlier it was only 4, but nowadays tongue help in chewing the food, and chewing of food into the buccal cavity, that is called mastication. So it help in mastication of food, chewing and mixing saliva into the food, that is called mastication. So after mastication, whatever food is there, that becomes moist, that becomes slippery, that becomes easy to swallow. So after mastication, the food becomes able to swallow it inside. Up during swallowing, here at the pharynx, this part is called pharynx. So at the pharynx, whatever windpipe is there, here whatever thick pipe you are seeing, you can feel at your neck. So this thick pipe is not a food pipe. Food do not go in that. In that even a small particle of food or water cannot go in that. If it will go, you will start to cough out. So that is the windpipe. Behind that a flexible tube is present, that is the food pipe or esophagus. So when the food is swallowed, the food do not go into the windpipe. That is because here a flap like structure, that is called epiglottis. Epiglottis is present. That epiglottis, a flap like structure, when we swallow any food items, liquid also, so at that time that close the windpipe, so that it may not, food particles or water may not go into the windpipe, and that guide to the food towards the food pipe, and food go into the food pipe. So that epiglottis help in that work as a traffic police. As traffic police give the side to go to the vehicles on one side, so like that it gives the path to the food or water to go into the food pipe. Then after chewing properly, means that is called after mastication, the food moves from the buccal cavity to the esophagus. Up here in esophagus, food moves forward to reach to the stomach. In esophagus is approx 25 centimeter long tube. The second part is esophagus. So esophagus from buccal cavity to the stomach, this is approx 25 centimeter long tube that connect the buccal cavity to the stomach. Food from the buccal cavity, after swallowing that, go into the stomach through the esophagus. In esophagus, there is no any type of digestion, no any change take place in the food, because there is no digestive enzymes or digestive glands in the esophagus. Means no any digestive enzymes are secreted here. So that is only a link between, you can say, a path between buccal cavity to the stomach. How food moves into the stomach? It is flexible tube. So when food moves into the tube, so wherever the food is there, behind that a contraction started, and here relaxation started. Rhythmic contraction. Here rhythmically means when food is here, then contraction will be here, relaxation will be there. When food will move here, then here contraction will be there, and further that relaxation will take place. So this rhythmic contraction and relaxation of the muscles which allow the food to move forward, that movement is called peristaltic. Peristaltic movement. Okay, peristaltic movement means rhythmic contraction and relaxation of muscles of in military canal, which allow the food to move forward. So that is called peristaltic movement. Because of peristaltic movement, the food moves towards the stomach. Up, you can think that if you are eating, so food will go into the stomach because of gravitational pull. So what is need of peristaltic movement? How peristaltic movement helps? It will go downward. If I am dropping chalk from here, from high side, it is going downward because of gravitational pull. So like that, food will also go downward because of gravitational pull. But if you hang yourself upside down, when you hang yourself upside down, hanging your legs into the, tie your legs and you hang yourself upside down, then if you will eat, then also food will go into the stomach. If you will eat anything, if you will chew anything, then if you will drink water, then it may come out through the nose. But if you will eat solid food and after chewing, if you will swallow it, then it will go into the stomach because of peristaltic movement. It will not go downward because of gravitational pull. It will go into the stomach. It means peristaltic movement helps in moving the food in forward into the food pipe, and that reach into the stomach. So in this video, this much, remaining we will study in the next video.